Hi, it's Tracy. Welcome back. And if you're new, hello, welcome. This week we are going shopping. We are going thrifting in the historical village of Tenterden. Tenterden is in Kent, which is the county next to us in Sussex, England. There are lots of thrift stores there, charity shops as we call them. There's retro, vintage, home interiors, antiques, lots to have a look at. The village of Tenterden goes back to the 1200s. It's steeped in history and fortunately a lot of its buildings are well preserved. Now for those of my American viewers that know their president's history, Samuel J. Tilden, who lost the US presidency by one vote in 1876, his ancestors actually came from Tenterden. Every day's a school day. On with the shopping. Now I'm liking the look of that bust in the window, but they had it priced at £95, which was a bit steep. I mean, I had to double check this was actually a charity shop, and it is. It's for a hospice. So onwards and upwards, let's keep mooching. I always like to check out the fabrics as well. This looked lovely, but red's not really my colour. I love that some of the charity shops here are in these beautiful old buildings with all their wonderful beams. It's a pleasure just to go in to look at the architecture, never mind what they're selling. I thought I'd caught sight of something really interesting here, but once I put my glasses on, note to myself, always wear glasses, I realised it was just stuck on, so that was a bit disappointing. There are some lovely interiors shops here, but unfortunately it was a Monday and they all close on a Monday. One or two were open, but the prices were a little bit high for what I was doing that day. There are also some really nice independent shops, and this one in particular I love going in. She's got the quirkiest shop fittings and it is just packed to the gunnels. This is probably a 15th century building and it's just such fun to come in, have a good old mooch around at her stock, but also just at the architecture. It was a home, it was a house, and now, oh, it's just wonderful. I love places like this. Back to the charity shops and on with the thrifting. Now, these were really quite interesting. These are shoe lasts and they were such a good price, just £3. And that's £3 for the pair, not each. There's a furniture charity shop in Tenterden as well. This is Hospice in the Weald and they have, I believe, 6 furniture shops. I'm a big supporter of that particular charity, so whenever I pass one of them, I've always got to go in and have a look because they generally have some really good stuff. Just look at these chairs, £10 each. Look at that caning, absolutely gorgeous. A nice selection of walking sticks at £2 each. We're going to say bye-bye to Tenterden now, but we are going to keep on shopping. I'm going to head over to another couple of these furniture stores, but as I pass the odd charity shop on the way, we'll stop in and have a little look-see. Wooden boxes are always so useful, and this one's really quite cute with the brass trimming. I came across this bowl and jug. It's a set, and I don't think it particularly matched, but it was intriguing. And when I flipped it over, well, there you go, Anthropology. But Anthropology, well, the one thing I never want, is somebody to walk into my house and say, oh, I know that I've got that. I know where you got that from. That would be the worst thing ever. So do I want Anthropology for £25, a jug and a bowl? It's probably really good value. Now, Bertie Fancy, you're probably wondering where he is. He's actually at home, keeping his eye on the stream. We've had so much rain down that my little brook is a raging torrent at the moment. So he's safely at home, and I'm going to carry on shopping. Now, wouldn't this bowl look so much better with my stone treatment on it? Looks like somebody's been saving their jars. Don't go make cheesecakes. I think someone had a cheesecake habit. Now arrived at the next charity furniture shop. Now, I absolutely love this place. Always has something. I always find something in here. Just a happy, happy place. I look at this oak table here with the amazing herringbone in it for just £10. I mean, why would you buy brand new furniture when you can get hold of pieces like that? Although I've got to say, I think there's a new volunteer in here and he or she is a little bit happy with that pricing gun. £15 each for these frames. I think I might have to be having a word. Look at that, £10 for the foot warmer. I've picked up lots of those for £5 and less. Nice collection of old woodworking tools here. These look like old planes. This pair of curtains would make a great tablecloth or cut down frayed edges as napkins. Right, on to the next store. So this is another hospice in the Weald. It's quite a large building, not as big as what we're in, and it is over 2 floors, but let's go and have a mooch. That would be a nice little sketch for Easter decorations. Here's an interesting little collection. All this wooden fruit, but by the time you add up each individual item, that's an expensive bowl of wooden fruit. This table and chairs really caught my eye. The quality here, the workmanship, the detail. Table and 6 chairs for £175. It beggars belief people will still go and buy flat pack furniture from one of these big box stores when you can get quality pieces like this for such little money. Yes, granted, there is a little bit of work involved, but you end up with a stunning piece that's not going to fall apart after 5 minutes. So that's the end of the shopping trip. Now time to get everything into the kitchen and time to start unpacking. But wait, there is more. I'm going to get the rest from the car. Well, it's been a good haul. So let me just move this out the way and we will start with the unpacking, which is always the best bit, isn't it? Right. Where to start? There's so much. It's such a big haul. So first thing is the carved box. It was £5. There is some inlay in there, which I think I'm going to remove all of that. I will probably end up lightening this. Now, whether or not I take all the varnish, the dye, the stain off, or if it will just take maybe a white wax or a white stain, a white oil stain. But I think that definitely wants to be lightened. So that's number one. Now for £4.50, I got another box. I thought these are going to be ideal to be putting trinkets in, you know, by the side of the bed, or, you know, bits of jewellery as you take off on a night. Remote controls are always good to hide your remote controls, even the remote controls for the faux candles that I use. This one I liked in particular because it's got the overlay of the strips of brass. So again, I mean, it's got watermarks and things on it. So I'm going to drop the shade down on this because I prefer things that are lighter. And I will use either white wax or, again, the white oil stain on that. Picked up the 2 carved candles for £5 for the pair, so £2.50 each. What a bargain. Solid wood. Don't quite know what the wood is, but it looks as though it might have some red undertones. Lovely carving detail on there. And for £2.50 a candlestick. I mean, really? Come on, that's insane. They're going to look lovely lightened again. I think there's a bit of a wood theme starting to happen here. This was just £1. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I'm sure I'll find some use for it. And then there were 4 carved coasters, and then 1 random blank one. So again, I don't quite know what I'll do with that, but it will come in handy. These, I was thinking, if I don't use them as coasters, they could be used on pieces of furniture, just to add detail, interest. So they will just sit in the garage, I think, for the time being until I've found a use for them. But if you forget about that, that is literally 25 pence just for, you know, that gorgeous detail that you could add to a piece of furniture. The wood theme continues. I don't know, sometimes it just goes like that when you're thrifting. You'll find lots of pottery or you'll find lots of glassware. I just think these things find you. So I got the 4 bowls. They're all slightly different sizes. Modern, you know, there's no age to them really, but handy, and for 25 pence each. Well, can't really go wrong, can you? I'll find a use for those. And again, I might lighten them. I might even just do a whitewash on them, or they may be fine as they are, but we'll give everything a good clean and I'll make decisions from there. More wood. These shoe lasts. Look at them. They were, I haven't got my glasses on, £3 for both of them, £1.50 each. They've got some real age to them, some real patina. So they're going to be fabulous just as objet d'art out. Interesting decor. I love anything like that that looks as though it's got a history to it. It's obviously heard some conversations over the years, and they're slightly different. So super happy with that. I mean, £1.50. This is insane. Have a break from some wood, and look at this. I got for £4.95. So ideal, just sat on the work surface there, or out on a summer table, butter in there, cheeses, anything that you just want to keep covered. Now, this pattern, I have something really quite similar in the cottage, which I picked up from HomeSense some years ago, and they're 2 big bowls, and it has this bubble effect, and they're actually marked as made in Spain. This one hasn't got any marks on it, obviously modern, of course, but just nice, light, fresh, clean looking, ideal for a kitchen. Back to wood and staying in the kitchen. £2. chopping board. Now, I know I've mentioned lots of times about the way that I lighten my chopping boards. Now I'm actually going to be able to show you. So we're going to sand this down, use Osmo white oil stain, leave that to dry for 24 hours, and then to make it food safe, you finish off with a top oil. Again, I will list anything I can below, but I have shown this on the rolling pins in other videos. Now, talking about rolling pins, I found another one. Yes, it's my new obsession. Everywhere I go now, I look for a rolling pin. For some reason, this had a ticket on at £3, which was not a store ticket. Then it had one at £5. And when I took it to the till, I'm like, seriously, guys, come on. You know, I want to support this charity, but I would never pay £5 for a rolling pin. Person I spoke to was horrified. Oh my goodness, no, that should only be £1. I'll have that, thank you. So there we go, rolling pin, and I will be rubbing that back, taking off whatever finish is on there and adding the white Osmo oil stain. And again, if I want to use it for food, I won't. It's just going to be decorative. But if you wanted to, finish it with the top oil. So when I was buying the rolling pin, I also picked up this. This, I would guesstimate, is at least 100 years old, if not 120. It is a plain, you know, for woodwork. Gosh, it's really heavy as well. Now, if you went down to, we have a big antique centre down here called Lewes, the town of Lewes, they would triple the price of that, if not quadruple. I got that for £15. Beautiful piece of old machinery, old tools. I love anything like that. It's a talking point. It's interesting. All I'm going to do to this is give it a really good wash. There are little bits of paint splatters and things on it which I don't want. I don't want to take any of this patina off. So just a jolly good clean. I actually left that shop. I got a couple of miles away in the car and thought, I've left a man down there. I have to go back for these two. So again, they've probably come from the same family. Got to be, again, over 100 years old, £7.50 each, 15 for the pair. If I was a dealer, and I'm not really, I could make a lot of money on those. These, I'm thinking, again, just random things out on a coffee table, on shelves, but they would make fabulous bookends. I do. I picked up the mirror, £7.50 on its stand, and look at the angle that it sits at. Isn't that interesting? I think this is quite old, and the way that the glass has mottled the oxidization of the glass, it's the breakdown of the silvering, the layers beneath it, is just, I mean, that would cost a fortune to buy a sheet of glass like that. £7.50. Absolutely love it. You could easily take it out of its stand if you wanted to. You could use it flat on a coffee table as a tray. What am I going to do with it? I don't know yet. I fancy having a big makeover of mirrors. I've got quite a few now that I have picked up and I've not done anything to. So we could well have a big mirror makeover video coming soon. Who knows? Now, I've got some more wood. I know, it's been a crazy, crazy wood haul. Look, I got these. Walking sticks. So I got 3 for £6 and then I got 6 for £10. So there we go, 9 walking sticks. All different lengths. Some have got the stoppers on. That's easy enough, just take those off. But what to do with it? Well, I've had all sorts of scary ideas. I've had all sorts of ideas. So I've got no pictures to show you. So you're going to have to get inside my head now and have a little rummage around my thought processes. So the first thing I thought of when I saw them was obviously strip them all down, get them, I mean, that's really red. I don't really do that sort of tone, so I can make that a different tone. So the first thing I thought of was flower arranging, having a bunch of these in a big container with stems, with greenery, with twigs. Then I was thinking if you had a piece of wood, nice old piece of wood, you could cut them down and drill some pallet holes and then go in, and they could be hats and scarves on the wall. Then I'm thinking up the stairs, it's like a handrail going up and then have another one. So have it going that way. You can visualize that, can't you? Then I thought, oh, that could be a curtain pole on a small window, or that way round on a big window. Then I had a few more ideas, and I thought, what does that look like? Think Christmas. What does it look like? Candy canes. Well, I don't really do that red, white thing at Christmas, but we could do like vintage candy canes. If you do the red thing, nothing wrong with that. You could use decorator's tape, paint it all white, decorator's tape, and then add in your red, spray it, brush it on, and you could have vintage candy canes. What would you do with them? Let me know. Drop it down in the comments below. I did have some other thoughts as well. I can't remember. Or of course you could just have them in a nice pot, in an umbrella stand, something like that, just as a decorative piece in the corner. I think I'm going to collect more of these because I have a vision of these at Christmas. Who knows where I'm going to go with that? Next item. I went with this, which is not the normal thing I go for, but £7.50. It's got some real weight to it. It's actually connected with brass bolts going through there. I loved the green in here, and it had a nice, it's got a little bit of a ding to it, not an absolute pure bell sound, but it's quite nice. It's heavy. I think it's pretty decorative. I could see that in my spring and summer decorating. Last year I went with pinks and greens out on the veranda. I could see that incorporated into that. Or we're going to start spring decorating next week, by the way, so don't forget to turn on your notifications so you don't miss that. I could see that coming out in spring decorating. Possibly even some bulbs in it, who knows? But £7.50, can't sniff at that. Next item. So this £5 plate, I was attracted to it because I like the green. And I just think spring, summer, it's nice to bring green in. And I see green very much as a neutral. But then when I flipped it over, I thought that's really interesting. So I've been doing a little bit of research just lately on maker's marks and how to identify the fakes, how to identify old pottery. So this has got some really interesting bits on it. So you can see the maker's mark there, Newington being the pattern. RH&S is Ralph Hammersley and Sons. Now, they were operating between 1860 and 1905. From 1884, they used the initials RH&S. So we know that the earliest this can be is 1884. There's no word England on there, and England was added from 1891. China manufacturers had to add the country of origin. It was all down to an import act that was brought in at the time. So if you see the word England or whichever country, you know that it is made after 1891. You've got to look really, really closely, and this is why it really pays to probably even get the torch on your phone going. There are two indents, and these are two maker's marks. The mark here, it's actually got the word ivory stamped in it. So ivory means, not that it's made of ivory, it means it's a slightly off-white glaze, and it was not uncommon on pottery from 1860s to the 1940s. Now, another indication, and this is the giveaway of age, it's got 3 numbers on it. Now, that's what that mark there is. It's very hard to pick up on camera, but it is a 7, and then beneath the 7 are 2 other numbers. 7 means the month it was manufactured, and the 2 numbers underneath, I think, are 9 and a 0. So I think this plate was manufactured in July 1890. Now that doesn't mean to say it actually went on sale in 1890. It just means that it was made in its white state. It could well have been weeks or months later when the pattern was added and the glaze. They quite often stockpiled pottery, just waiting for sales and to deal with fluctuations. So it's always worth having a good rummage around and always look at the back. When you see a stamp like that, if you see one that's really quite big, that is your first giveaway that it's probably a fake, because they're never normally more than about 1 inch, 2 inches in size. This I got for £5. I mean, £5, and it's probably, what, over 130 years old, if my interpretation, if not more, if my interpretation is correct. So there you go. How to identify. And I'm no expert. You just got to have a Google, have a play around, but just a few things for you to look out for there. So that is my big old haul. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now, normally at this point in time in a video, you would see me do all the makeovers and do the styling. But as we're going into spring decorating, we're going to be doing tons of styling. So I'm going to pick up all of these pieces over the next few weeks. Be sure to tune in, and then you'll find out what happens to them. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.